There's a massive infrastructure problem brewing in the AI industry, and almost nobody's talking about it. Every AI company on Earth, OpenAI, Anthropic, Mistral, DeepSeek, everyone building frontier models needs to train and deploy those models somewhere. That somewhere used to be traditional cloud providers like Amazon AWS or Google Cloud. But here's the kicker. Those platforms were designed decades ago for normal computing workloads. They're optimized for websites and databases and video streaming, not for the raw, demanding, specialized infrastructure that powers today's frontier AI models. Think of it like this. It's like trying to run a Formula One pit crew out of a standard office building. The infrastructure game has fundamentally changed. Enter AI Neoclouds, specialized data centers built from scratch just for artificial intelligence. They're popping up everywhere, funded by billions flowing into AI, and they desperately need to get live and operational fast. Netris is a startup that's been solving the infrastructure puzzle these neoclouds need. Just now, they raised $15 million in series of funding from Andreessen Horowitz. That's significant because this funding signals infrastructure for AI isn't solved. It's the frontier where the next trillion-dollar opportunity hides. And here's where it gets interesting. So what exactly is a neocloud? To understand it, you need to know how traditional cloud computing works. When you use Amazon AWS or Google Cloud, you're renting computing power from massive data centers they built to serve millions of customers doing different things. It's like a massive shopping mall. One space has to work for every type of store. But AI is different. Training a language model like Claude or GPT-4 requires incredibly specialized hardware, thousands of GPUs connected by ultra-fast networks, all choreographed to work as one synchronized machine. A traditional cloud data center isn't built for that. So companies like Lambda Labs, CoreWeave, and Crusoe Energy started building new data centers from scratch, designed specifically for AI workloads. These are AI neoclouds. They are purpose-built. Every rack, every network cable, every cooling system is optimized for one thing: running AI at scale. The difference is massive. Traditional cloud, you might get decent but inconsistent performance. AI neoclouds, you get dedicated GPUs, networks engineered for collective AI processing, and infrastructure teams that actually understand what you're trying to do. But here's the twist nobody expected. Building these neoclouds is itself a massive technical problem. Netris solves a problem that sounds simple, but is actually incredibly complex. Building an AI neocloud is like assembling a giant Lego set, except the pieces are server racks, network switches, and GPUs. Everything has to talk to everything else, instantly and reliably. When Lambda Labs or Crusoe Energy builds a new data center, they need networking software that lets them orchestrate thousands of machines as if they are one giant computer. That's where Netris comes in. The platform is basically an operating system for data center networks. It's called Netris Network Cloud, and it does something revolutionary. It gives operators real-time visibility and control over every packet of data flowing through their infrastructure. Think of it like air traffic control for electricity and data. Without Netris, managing a growing AI neocloud is chaotic. You're managing thousands of individual connections, hoping nothing breaks. With Netris, it's orchestrated. You see everything, control everything, and optimize for maximum GPU utilization. Netris lets data center operators do in weeks what used to take months. They can deploy new AI customers faster, scale existing ones without downtime, and troubleshoot problems before they happen. And this series of funding, it signals that neoclouds are betting serious money on Netris as the backbone software they need. Here's what the headlines aren't telling you. Let's talk specifics. CoreWeave, one of the biggest AI hosting companies, is using Netris to manage its infrastructure across multiple data centers. Without Netris, every time a customer spun up a new model training job, it would be a manual process. Engineers would literally have to configure switches, set up networks, track bandwidth. With Netris, it's automated. A customer in Amsterdam orders cloud GPU capacity for training. Netris's software provisions the network in minutes. Lambda Labs is using it the same way. They are scaling their AI infrastructure faster than they ever could before. Another example, Mistral AI, the French AI company backed by billions of euros, is expanding compute infrastructure globally. They need their models to run across multiple data centers in different countries. That requires a networking backbone that works seamlessly across continents. Netris handles exactly that. It's like the difference between manually wiring every phone in a building versus having a unified phone system that routes calls automatically. The pattern is clear. Every company scaling AI compute infrastructure faces the same problem. They need software that gives them control, visibility, and speed. Netris is the answer. And this funding round signals to the entire neocloud industry that this is the standard infrastructure they should adopt. But here's something crucial. So how does Netris compare to what existed before? The honest answer, there was no good before. Traditional cloud networking, the stuff AWS and Google Cloud use, is designed for general-purpose computing. When you spin up a server on AWS, the network gets provisioned automatically, but it's not optimized for anything specific. It's good enough for most workloads, which is why it dominates. But AI is different. You need extreme performance, low latency, and real-time orchestration. The closest thing that existed before Netris was, well, engineers manually configuring hardware. Companies like Crusoe Energy and Lambda Labs had to write custom networking code, hire specialized teams, and operate things manually. It was expensive and slow. Enter Netris. They are essentially taking that custom work and turning it into software that anyone can deploy. It's like the difference between hand-assembling cars in a garage versus using an assembly line. The efficiency gains are staggering. Netris customers report provisioning new infrastructure weeks faster than they could before. Think about what that means economically. If you can get a customer's AI workload live 2 weeks sooner, they're paying you weeks sooner. The ROI is obvious. This is why A16Z led this funding round. It's not just about Netris's software. It's about Netris enabling an entire industry to scale faster. And the scale potential is absolutely massive. But wait, here's the kicker. This $15 million funding round signals something massive about the future of computing infrastructure. For years, AWS and Google Cloud dominated because they arrived first. But now we're entering an era of specialized clouds, AI Neoclouds, science clouds, quantum-ready clouds. Each needs custom networking and orchestration. Netris is positioning itself as the operating system for all of them. If they execute well, they could become as fundamental to AI infrastructure as Kubernetes became to containerized software. Think about that. Kubernetes is now the standard for running containers everywhere. Netris could be the standard for running AI everywhere. The market opportunity is colossal. Every neocloud operator who wants to scale fast needs this software. Every future data center built specifically for AI workloads will need it. That's billions of dollars in potential revenue. But there's a second implication. This validates the entire neocloud market. A16Z isn't known for backing questionable bets. They are the most influential VC firm in Silicon Valley. The backing of Netris via Series A tells the industry neoclouds are real. They're not hype. They're the future. Other investors will now chase this category hard. More neocloud companies will get funded. More competition will intensify. And consumers, companies needing AI infrastructure, win because they get more choice and better products. And this is what nobody predicted. So what should you actually take away from this? If you're building an AI company or training models, this funding round might not affect you directly, at least not yet. But if you're thinking about where to run your compute infrastructure, know this: the landscape is shifting. Neoclouds exist now. They're faster, cheaper, and more specialized than traditional cloud providers for AI workloads. Services like Lambda Labs, CoreWeave, and others are production-ready. And they're getting better because Netris software is making it easier for them to scale. If you're currently locked into AWS or Google Cloud for AI training, you might want to compare costs with a neocloud. The price difference can be dramatic, sometimes 30 to 50% cheaper. If you're a data center operator or infrastructure company, this funding round signals network orchestration software is critical. Invest in it. If you're an investor, understand that the infrastructure layer for AI is being rebuilt from first principles. That's where the next decade of it happens, not in the models themselves, but in the plumbing that makes models possible. This funding round is just the beginning. Netris is going to expand rapidly. They'll add features, sign more customers, and become increasingly indispensable. But this is where the real story starts. Here's what this whole story comes down to. For the past 20 years, Cloud computing has been dominated by a handful of players, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud. Those companies are still massive, still important, but they're not optimized for AI. The future of compute infrastructure isn't one cloud to rule them all. It's multiple specialized clouds, each built for a specific workload. AI Neoclouds are that future. Netris's funding validates that future. Think of it this way: if traditional clouds are highways, neoclouds are precision-engineered racetracks. Both exist, both are useful, but they serve different purposes. Netris is the pit crew that makes those racetracks work. This funding round tells you that intelligent investors are betting serious money on this change. They're not betting on Netris alone, they're betting on the entire category, which means expect more funding in this space. Expect more neocloud competitors to launch, and expect the technology to accelerate. The next 5 years are going to be wild for AI infrastructure. If you're curious about how this unfolds, follow for daily AI news. We cover stories like this every single day: the infrastructure changes, the funding rounds, the technology breakthroughs that shape the AI industry. Subscribe, share, and I'll see you tomorrow with the next headline.